It's time for Baby and Toddler Instructions with host Blythe Lipman. Blythe is a nationally renowned infant and toddler expert who has over 30 years' experience helping moms and dads regain their sanity, teaching them how to survive, and giving them the confidence they need to be the best parents ever. From sleeping to crying to potty training to choosing a preschool and so much more. If you're a parent, Baby and Toddler Instructions is the show you've been looking for. Now here's your host, Blythe Lipman.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever in the world you might be. Thanks so much for tuning in to Baby and Toddler Instructions today. I am so excited. I have a wonderful guest that's going to be joining me from the UK. She'll be with us in just a bit. Her name is Sara Turner. She is the author of The Unmumsy Mom. Her book is such a hoot. She has a blog with the same name, and you have to look at it, and you have to buy the book. Anyway, I can't wait to talk to her, but first, I do have a few things, as I usually do. If you need to contact me, go to my website, mybestparentingadvice.com. If you want to be a guest, if you have a question about my guest today, check out my website. There's a contact form there, and register because guess what? My website is brand new. Yay, I redid it. Anyway, I trust you all had a wonderful holiday weekend and are still enjoying what the Easter Bunny brought, or you're dancing because you don't have to eat any more matzah from Passover. If you're a regular listener, you know that I have an almost 2-year-old grandson, and what a joy. He makes my heart smile with so much love, but toddlers are something else. I had a dinner at my house on Sunday with the family. We celebrate Passover, and I bought him this toy lawnmower that actually has like the thing you pull up with the string. I'm sitting here pulling up at my desk, and it makes so much noise when you pull up the string. Well, let me tell you, we heard that for the next 2 hours, and my poor little dog, Desi, he was chasing him, and Desi didn't know what to do. He hasn't been around too many toddlers. But anyway, I mention this because I like to tell you my stories, but also I've always told parents that when you have a toddler, it's better to teach them not to touch things than to put every single thing away in your house, unless, of course, it's dangerous. You know, if it's something that can hurt them, because toddlers do touch everything. I have to tell you, I had more things put away, and it wasn't because of Alex. When we tell him no, he doesn't touch it. It was because of Desi, the dog, because he has little Tykes toys, and the dog was getting them and walking around with them in his mouth. So I think it's a different rule if you have dogs. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. Hope you all had a great holiday. There was a recall this week. Target recalled something called the, let me see here. It's called the water-absorbing Easter and Dino toy. This is really scary. If the small toy is ingested, it can expand inside a child's body and cause intestinal obstructions resulting in severe discomfort, obviously, vomiting, dehydration, and life-threatening because it expands. It's like a sponge. Anyway, if you have these Easter and Dino toys, looks like little Easter egg, and it says water and grow Easter egg. I'm looking at the picture right now. If you do have that, I already put the numbers on my website, mybestparentingadvice.com, and take it back to Target. You know what? They'll give you your money back. Do not let your child play with it, even if you're sitting right there. It is dangerous. This is a scary one. So that was the only recall today. All the other recalls are also on my website. And something interesting I wanted to share, I don't know if you heard about this. It's called, I'm calling it Baby in a Box. Hospitals give away baby boxes to curb infant mortality. Parents across the country are beginning to ditch traditional cribs in favor of baby boxes. There's a company called babyboxco.com, a Los Angeles-based company, and it's partnering with hospitals in the U.S. to give away these free cardboard boxes to new parents after they're quizzed on a 15-minute educational video about safe sleeping and habits for babies. The boxes come equipped with clothes, a mattress, fitted sheet, and $150 worth of baby necessities. Now, I have to tell you, I looked at this box, and I'm going to see if I can't get them on my radio show. The box is not to deliver the baby supplies. The box is to put your baby in there to sleep. You know, many, many, many years ago, our grandmothers used to open a drawer and take it out and put the baby in the drawer to sleep if they didn't have a crib. And this is what this reminds me of. It's a box. It's got a safe mattress in it, and it says it's modeled after a program in Finland that began more than 70 years ago. And the course is paired with a box that discourages parents from sleeping with their child. Well, you obviously wouldn't fit in this box unless you're tiny, tiny. Putting toys in their bed and placing the baby on his or her stomach, all of which can lead to SIDS. And it's pretty interesting. It's Dolores Peterson and her 3-month-old daughter has a box that doubles as a crib in her home. And they say that it's great. In Finland, baby boxes have had a dramatic impact. When the program launched in 1949, the government gave mothers a choice. They could either receive 140 euros or a baby box stuffed with child care products worth more than the cash. And you know what? The infant mortality rate went down. It said that the rate was 65 deaths per 1,000 infants, which went way down. It ended to 3.5 deaths per 1,000 births when they used these baby boxes. Anyway, check this out. I thought this was really pretty interesting. So it's babyboxco.com. That's the company. And wait till you see this. It's really cute. But, you know, the Back to Sleep campaign started. We always put our babies back to sleep, on their backs to sleep. And that's really helped SIDS a lot. And anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. So let's see, what else do I have to tell you today? Oh, well, since I'm going to be talking to Sara Turner, who is the author of The Unmumsy Mom, and she has a great blog, I thought I would share a few tips from my own book, Help My Toddler Came Without Instructions. I have 3, Help My Baby Came Without Instructions, More Help My Baby Came Without Instructions, and Help My Toddler Came Without Instructions. Not sure what I'm going to do next, but anyway, when you have a child, after reading Sara's book, my children are grown, and I can remember how tough it is. You're dying for a date night. You want to just get out. You want to feel like a normal person, and you want to take off your sweats. So my chapter on It's Time for Date Night, choosing the perfect babysitter. Well, that's a tough one. And what I did was, it's Saturday night. You and your husband are dressed, ready to go for the evening. The babysitter was supposed to arrive 15 minutes. You're pacing the floor, and then she never shows up. So, okay, what I did in my book in this chapter is I made lists, as I did in the entire book, of things to ask. The interview questions are so important. First of all, how many years have you been babysitting? What are the ages? How old are you? If you get a referral from a friend. If you have a pet, make sure, do you mind being in a house with a pet? Cell phone, set up the rules ahead of time. Is the babysitter allowed to be on her cell phone? Is she supposed to answer your phone and walk her around the house and show her where your phones are if you actually have a landline? And when you do the interview, does she arrive on time? What does she look like? Are her clothes clean? Does she ask you questions about your children? That's a big one. Red flag. If you are hiring a babysitter and they don't want to know anything about your kids, you know what? And you get that feeling, not the right babysitter. Also, one more tip, and I have a lot more in this chapter. Discuss money before she comes to watch your children. Because, that's tough. Nobody likes to talk about money, and discuss ahead of time what you will be paying, and don't say, what do you get for babysitting? Because you are leaving it so open-ended. So I have all these tips. Also, one more last tip that's really important. Tell her when you're going to call. I'm going to call, so she does answer the phone. And if you call and the babysitter, if you have a baby and she doesn't answer the phone, she might be changing him or her, or she might be feeding or putting them to sleep. So again, go with your intuition, as I always say, when you're hiring a babysitter, and look at my checklist so you get the right babysitter. And when you walk out for a night on the town, for a date night, or if you're going for girlfriend time or whatever it is you're going to be doing, you want to feel so good and not sit there and worry the whole night. Because I have to tell you, I've done that. I'll never forget, even though my children are grown. And it's just not fun. So those are the things I wanted to share with you. We're going to have a commercial break pretty soon, but I'll tell you a little bit about my guest. And when we come back, we can talk to Sara Turner, who grew up in Cornwall, England, graduated from the University of Exeter in 2008 with a degree in philosophy and sociology. She worked at the Royal Bank of Scotland, and when she gave birth to her first son, she decided to work part-time at the university. Despite achieving the holy grail of part-time work, part-time parenting, Sara found motherhood considerably harder than she had anticipated. And for this reason, she started writing the Unmumsy Mum blog. In 2014, Sara's second son was born, and amidst the chaos of life with 2 children, she decided to dedicate more time to the blog, which has more than 4 million page views. You know, you have to look at Sara's blog. I can't wait to talk to her. It is so right on. Before we have children, we have this idea of how it's going to be. They're going to take 2 naps. You're going to get to sleep. You're going to be able to take a shower when you feel like it. You're not going to think about the baby crying. What's going to happen? Where do you put the baby when you're in the shower? What happens if the phone rings? You're ready to go out. All of a sudden, the baby has a poopy diaper and you can't get in the car. There's so many things that you really don't know. You know, that's why I had so much fun writing my books, because I gave lots of instructions. And Sara's book, The Unmumsy Mum, is just so right on. So many chapters that are so funny. My baby wearing incompetence. 1 to 2, what's the deal? Things I swore I wouldn't do as a parent, but I do. That's a good one. I can't wait to talk to her about that, because we all say, I'm never going to do this. Or the other thing is, when we're growing up, we remember what our mothers did and we think, we're never going to be like our mothers, or we're never going to do this. Anyway, I want to say hello to Sara, because I want to welcome her to the show. And before the break, let's say good morning. How are you, Sara?
Hello. Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited you're on the show. This book just has me laughing but shaking my head, because you have such a nice message that, you know, none of us are perfect, and we do the best we can. So where are you in the UK?
I am in Exeter in Devon, so right down in the southwest of the UK.
Is it? And it's 4:00 in the afternoon, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's 4:00 in the afternoon. So yeah, not too long until the tea time chaos will commence in my house.
It's you know what? We hear tea time. I hear tea time and think, oh, I'd love to go to high tea. I can imagine it's not high tea in your house.
It's not. No, it's not at all like that. No, it's not. Nothing sophisticated about it.
Does it have cookies involved in little cakes, or is it water and something, a piece of bread?
Yeah, exactly. More like that. Some sort of drink in a beaker, and most of the food on the floor or underneath the high chair usually.
How old are your children? You have 2 boys?
Yeah, 2 boys. So Henry is 5 and has just started school here, and Jude is 2. So yeah, a toddler and a new school starter.
Wow, that keeps you very busy. Does Henry help you with the baby?
They get on quite well, but it's a typical sibling relationship, in that sometimes they cuddle and love each other, and sometimes they just fight and scrap, and you know, out of the corner of your eye you sort of see them sparring in the corner and think, oh no, I'm gonna have to break this up now. So yeah, it's a mixed bag, but they generally get on quite well. Yeah.
Oh, it's really fun, except those nights when you don't get sleep and you get up in the morning and you have to do your morning run and get everybody ready. Yeah. Anyway, we are going to have a commercial break in just a few seconds. And when we come back, I will be talking to Sara Turner, the author of The Unmumsy Mom, the hilarious highs and emotional lows of motherhood. Boy, isn't that the truth. Lots to talk about, and I can't wait. So we will be right back. Please stay with us at Baby and Toddler Instructions.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
Information about book publishing is power. The power to change your authoring life and the power to change the lives of your readers. So join us for Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. You'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now. As the book shepherd, Dr. Judith Briles is in. And each week, she will include publishing professionals that will reveal tips and secrets to the author's journey. If there is a book in you, you want to listen, learn, and yes, call in with your questions each week. For more on Judith and what she can do for you, check out her website, thebookshepherd.com. It's Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know, but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by Author You and The Book Shepherd, with your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
A common misconception when it comes to exercise is that you have to do the whole workout. Otherwise, it's not worth doing at all. That is untrue. One of the most positive things about exercise is that it's not all or nothing. If you find yourself swamped and you do not have an hour to devote to daily exercise, don't worry. Every little bit counts. So if you don't have time one day to do your normal full workout, it's okay to do an abbreviated routine every once in a while. Squeeze in anything you can. It all adds up. If you only have 30 minutes, lift weights for 10 minutes, then take a brisk walk or challenging run for the remaining 20 minutes. Sometimes all you can manage to do is fit in 15 minutes of abdominal exercises. That is definitely better than doing nothing. Do what you can and reap the benefits. For the Fitness Minute, I'm Annette Hammond. Like us on Facebook at Fitness Minute with Annette Hammond.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions. I am here with my wonderful guest, Sara Turner, the author of The Unmumsy Mum, who also has a blog by the same name. And you know what? It's really interesting because this book, I have to tell you, I was talking to Sara during the commercial. It just has me laughing and shaking my head. And, you know, it's really fun, I have to say, being a grandma. It's fun to look back and remember what I did with my children and see what's going on with my own grandson. And this is so funny. In the beginning of the book, it says, when I look back to the vision I had of myself as a housewife before I actually had children, 1950s styles with my pinion, my rose-cheeked kids playing nicely while I had a civilized coffee with a friend who was sampling the freshly baked muffins I had made. I just laughed and wiped the snot smear off my leggings. And this was from somebody that contributed to her book. And I'll tell you what, this is so true. It's so true. You know, when you hear so many moms say, if I don't have babies throw up on me, I'm not a mom. But anyway, Sara, I'm so excited that you're here all the way from Devon in the UK. So tell me, how did you come up with this and when did you have time?
That's a very good question. I'm not sure I've ever really had the time. I just felt inspired to start writing something when I had Henry, so my first son, and I think he was about a year old, a little bit older than that. And I was kind of struggling with it all. I just found, as you said, it just wasn't quite what I'd expected, that classic expectation versus reality thing of thinking, oh my goodness, this just isn't quite what I had in mind. And I just sort of looked online to try and find something that would reassure me that I wasn't, you know, on my own and that we were all in it together and that other people were struggling with parenthood. And I kind of struggled to find anything here in the UK, certainly. So I decided I'd write something of my own. And yeah, the blog was born from that, really.
You know what? It's funny. When you first thought about doing this, did you talk to all your girlfriends and did they say, it's fine, we all do the same thing? Or did you just all shake your head and say, wow?
It was a mixture. I mean, I was very lucky to have, you know, people around me that would be honest about how they were finding it. But I was the first out of my kind of girlfriends to have a baby. So I couldn't kind of draw on their experience because they hadn't done it yet. So I went to a lot of baby groups and you know, baby and toddler music sessions and all the sort of things, activities that you take yourself to in the hope of meeting parent friends. And everybody else just seemed to be coping better than I was, or they appeared to be anyway. I would ask how they were, and they'd be like, "It's great, it's fine, everything's going well." And I would sort of nod in agreement, but secretly be thinking, it's just hard, and I felt quite lonely at times. So it was a tricky time, and I just wanted that feeling of solidarity, that you get from knowing that there are other people in the same boat as you. So I suspected that there might be, and starting the blog was a way to kind of reach out to those people who would go, yeah, me too. That's how, I've had a nightmare day as well, and it's fine to admit that. So.
You know what it is, and wow, you have 4 million views of your blog. That's great, because that just shows, what? You are all in the same boat. We are all in the same boat. Even as a grandma, I mean, the one most important tip that my friend said to me before my daughter had her baby was, zip it. Do not tell them what to do. Let them do it on their own. So.
Yeah. I know, because everybody has an opinion, don't they, when it comes to parenting styles and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And I think when you're a new parent, especially, you can feel quite defensive in thinking that if somebody offers you advice, that they're trying to tell you that you're doing it wrong. So it's hard. It's a minefield. It's just not, exactly as you say. They don't. Nothing. There's no manual. It doesn't come with a guidebook. So you have to just kind of make it up as you go along.
You know what you do, and the thing is, I always tell my parents that I work with, if grandma or somebody gives you some advice, just say thank you and go home and do what works for you. Because even though I've written my books that say help, they came without instructions, it doesn't mean, I know every tip in my books, and I have hundreds, they all work for some baby or some toddler, but not everything works the same way, and not every family runs the same way. And it's okay. That's the biggest thing we have to know, that what you do in your family, just because somebody does it one way in theirs, it doesn't always work.
No, exactly that. It's so true.
What was your biggest surprise about being a mom?
I think it was, you hear stories about tiredness, and you think, well, that's okay. I'm prepared. I'm mentally prepared for that, because that was one of the least surprising things, that you're going to be knackered because the baby won't sleep, or they want feeding every couple of hours, and that's fine. But I think it came as a shock to me, the kind of knock-on effect, or the impact that being sleep deprived has on everything. So everything just feels so much harder when you haven't had any sleep. So it's not just the fact that you have been sat up in bed feeding a baby all night. It's the fact that then the kind of daily tasks that follow on from that are just kind of hazy. I felt like I lived under a fog for a few months, not really sure what was going on. I would do stupid things like put, the box of cereal back in the fridge and the milk in the cupboard, and just kind of never feel like I was, just coping at full capacity like I perhaps had when I'd had some sleep. So the impact of that sleep deprivation came as a shock, I think.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
Now that you have a second one.
Yeah.
When he naps, do you nap?
No, because.
Why not?
I know. I have to admit, I do. If all of the circumstances are in my favour, and and one child's at school and one's asleep, I will sometimes just allow myself to nod off for an hour. But generally, we're just so busy as parents, aren't we? That you're always stealing time. So if he naps, then I'm thinking, actually, I really need to, finish writing a chapter of my book, or I really need to, order some groceries, or I need to do something. So it's that constant parental guilt, isn't it, of thinking, I can't just take some time out because there's so much stuff to be done. But sometimes I do just give in and think I just need to sleep. That will fix it. You know what?
Are you as tired having two now, or did your body adjust to not having lots of sleep like we used to have?
I think I definitely adjusted, but then it seems unfair somehow, because you've adjusted to having like a small baby or a toddler again, and you actually cope with that a lot better than perhaps you had the first time. But you have the added interesting dynamic of having a slightly older child thrown into the mix then, who is equally demanding your time. So it's challenging in different ways, I think, but nothing has been as much of a shock to me as that first baby hurricane. That was just incredible.
It's funny. I'll share a funny story with you. I remember that. I mean, that exhaustion is something else, and you cry and nothing works right because you're so tired. Yeah. It's always bigger than it is. And when you look back, it really wasn't that big. At the time, it was big because you're so tired. But when my kids are 3 years apart, and they used to play this game. They weren't great nappers, so they used to play this game. They used to have me lay on the floor in the family room, and they would cover me up with blankets and make a mommy fort. And I have to tell you how many times I nodded off with the blankets over my head, over my body. It was a great game. I had my few minutes of being quiet.
That's right. Get it while you can. Yeah.
Exactly. But, it is what's interesting, and I talk about this with a lot of my guests, is that we can write all our children's activities on our calendars or in our smartphones, but we never write ourselves in.
No, so true.
We write everybody else in, and I used to do an experiment with myself, and I would write myself in. And even though it was just something silly, like I'm going to sit down for an hour, I'm going to read a magazine, or I'm going to, read a book or go online or something, nothing to do with work. And I have to tell you, even at my age, I feel like I should be doing something.
Yeah. Yeah. You feel guilty for daring to do something that's for you. It's mad, isn't it? But yeah.
It is. But we need to all work on it because it's so important, because after that hour, you know what? You feel so much better. You feel so different. And if you keep doing it and it becomes a habit, it's even better as it's a habit. But it's really tough to do. The other thing is, you know what? If you get a babysitter once a week, I used to have Wendy Severance would come every Wednesday from 3 to 5, and I would stay home and go in my room and I'd take a nap, or I don't know what I did, make phone calls. It was my time. Yeah. And I was still home. And, I was talking about before the show started about hiring a babysitter. It's not so wrong to hire a babysitter either during the day, just for a couple hours for yourself.
No, it's when you need to, isn't it?
It really is. We're going to have another commercial break in just about a minute, and I'm going to talk to you. I don't know even where to start. I have all these pieces of paper in your book, because reading your book, I thought we need to talk about this. We need to talk about nights out for baby years. So we need to talk about all these things. I want to talk about the hope, denial, standoff, rage, guilt cycle, and how parents have told you they cope with it when we come back after the commercial break. Because, you know what, it's tough also if you're a working parent. That's another thing. It's tough if you're a working parent. It's tough if you're a stay-at-home parent. Yeah. You get so much joy from it, but some of those days, and then, you know what, and then they get sick. And then that's another thing that gets thrown into the mix. Yeah. When they, especially if they go to preschool, I know my grandson's gotten sick a lot this year because they do not know how to blow their own nose, and everything goes in the mouth, and everything touches the other kids. So they bring lots home, but by the time they get to,
relentless, isn't it? Yeah, just constant when they're at daycare.
It is, and then you end up getting sick as a mom, and then you all don't feel so good. But anyway, we're going to all stay healthy, and in just a few seconds, we're going to have a commercial. I'm here with my wonderful guest today, the Unmumsy Mom, the hilarious highs and emotional lows of motherhood, Sara Turner's book, and check out her blog, The Unmumsy Mom. It's great. It will make you laugh. It will make you shake your head. And I know she wants to hear your stories too, because we all have our stories, and it's so much fun to have children. And what seems terrible now, I can tell you in 20 years, it won't seem like it was so terrible. You'll even laugh, because that's what happens. So please stay with us on Baby and Toddler Instructions. We'll be right back.
Okay, ladies, listen up.
Did you know recent studies are suggesting that women with skinny waists but sizable hips are smarter than other women? Scientists at the University of Pittsburgh and the University of California gave cognitive tests to a group of 16,000 women and girls of different body types and found the women with the greatest hip-to-waist proportions scored higher. I guess that would make me a walking Encyclopedia Britannica. Now, hold on. That doesn't mean it's okay for us to be a powder pigeon. That's another name for a woman whose sizable hips can take up a whole supermarket aisle. Research suggests that the fat around fuller hips and thighs holds higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids, which helps the brain. I'm not sure if I would rather be able to do the Sunday crossword puzzle or get into those jeans I bought 10 years ago. I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Word.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
If you are looking to drop a few extra pounds or to just get more toned, working out with an exercise ball is a good idea. Livestrong.com says that when you perform exercises on a stability ball, you are engaging your core and helping to shape and tone your abs. Exercising with a stability ball, also known as an exercise or fitness ball, will strengthen your core and improve your balance and stability. They remind us that it isn't possible to spot reduce. You need to consume fewer calories than you burn, and then the weight will come off all over your body, including around your waist. As you are cutting back on calories, be sure to use the exercise ball during this time to tighten and tone your waist. Your newly sculpted abs will become more and more visible as your weight decreases. I'm Annette Hammond. Like us on Facebook at Fitness Minute with Annette Hammond.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions. I am here with my guest, as I said, Sara Turner, the unmumsy mom. She's from Devon in the UK, and it is the afternoon there. I'm in Arizona. It's only 8:30 in the morning here, but wherever you are, I'm so happy you could tune in today. And if you have any questions for me or my guest, or you want to be a guest, go to my website, mybestparentingadvice.com, and send me an email, call my office, or you can go to TogiNet, TOGINET.com. And you can find me there, and you can find Sara as well. Sara, where can my listeners find you?
They can find me on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter at the Unmumsy Mum. And if you just Google the Unmumsy Mum, it'll bring my blog up. By the same name. So I'm there on the internet. I'm in my little corner of the internet. Yes,
and you will love it. So part 2 of the book, Life But Not As We Knew It. I misplaced a breast pad in the pool once. In the ball pool once. Wow, how many people have done that? It's like, ooh, what's this? Anyway.
I know. I dread to think what's lurking under there in play centres and places, all the things that people have misplaced. But yes. Breast pad was once one of those things for me, yeah.
And you know what? And then talk about the breast pads. I mean, they fall out. You forget to bring an extra one. That's a whole topic in itself. Breastfeeding with your children, especially when you go out of the house. But anyway, before the break, I said I wanted to talk to you about the hope, denial, standoff, rage, guilt cycle. Who has guilt when they're a mother? All of us.
Yeah, guilt probably concludes the cycle of just about every parenting activity, I reckon. We're always doubting ourselves. But no, that was something that I wrote about, specifically about the night feeds, the dreaded night feeds when you think it's never going to end and you sat up in bed at 2 a.m. and you have that moment when you think, oh, the denial thing is that they can't, he can't be hungry again. He cannot possibly be hungry again. And then, you even though you shouldn't because it's not their fault, there's an element of, of rage that you're going to have to get out of bed and feed again, and you're just so tired and you just want to sleep, and you think how much milk can one baby have, and the standoff is when there are two parents, and you play the game of it's not my turn, and we were saying it's tricky, whether or not you go out to work or you're a stay-at-home parent. Either way, it's hard, whichever way you do it. So my husband and I used to kind of, I would pretend that it's awful, but I would just pretend that I hadn't heard Henry crying in the hope that James would then step up and, obviously not when I was breastfeeding because it was all on me then. But when by the time he was on bottles and you just pray that they're going to get up, and then it's like, oh no, it's me again. And yeah, it concludes with the kind of hope that you put them down to sleep and maybe you might get in a solid kind of 3 or 4 hours. And then you wonder when 3 or 4 hours became, a solid or sought after amount of sleep, if I can just get 4 hours in, it's like, when did that become a decent or adequate amount of sleep? But it is, you just something. Yeah.
Or when it's been an hour and you sit up straight in bed and go, how many hours has it been?
Yeah.
It's only been an hour and you could have been sleeping. So did James get up?
Yeah, he was very, very good. He was very good and very helpful. But there were days when, we very, felt like we were, parenting partners in many respects. But when he then had to get up in the morning and drive to work, there's an element of he cannot be sat up in bed from 2 until 5 in the morning because he's got to then go and operate a car, which is, even though I had to be in charge of a child at home, it was slightly less risky. So I did used to think, I don't want him to be overtired, but yeah, it's just hard, isn't it? It's hard on everything in that new baby stage.
That new baby stage is hard. And, it's funny. I can remember you're hoping your partner will get up and then they go, are you awake? Are you awake? The baby's crying. And you want to hit him over the head with the pillow and you go, oh, I didn't hear him.
Yeah, or when you're feeding for the 10th time in the night and they're snoring and you think, that there's nothing more of an insult than being reminded that they're asleep and you're not, every second when a big snore comes out and you just think it's so inconsiderate. I used to jab him in the ribs and, kick him in the leg and be quiet. But it's a testing time for sure. And then you feel guilty about either flying off the handle and blaming each other or for sort of saying, oh, why does he need feeding again? Because deep down, it's the most natural thing in the world to wake up and feed your baby. So you then feel terrible that you had a bit of a moan about it, but you just can't help it when you're sleep deprived, I think.
No, you can't, but I just want to know this, and I can't figure it out. Why can men sleep through all of this? We hear the tiniest little ant crawling outside, but they are sound asleep. I don't care how much noise you make. I don't care if the baby's screaming. Men can sleep through so much that we can't as women. I think it's in our genes as mothers.
Yeah, maybe it is. I used to sleep really, really heavily before I had children, and now not at all. So maybe it's something that happens when when the baby's born. You just never go back to being able to nod off and sleep for 12 hours. I wake up at the sound of anything.
You know what? It's got to be in our genes because I do too.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you think? So, what gives you mom rage? I see some of your examples and they're really funny, like short battery life on your iPads or electronic devices, or the computer doesn't work. You just, you want to do something and it doesn't work.
I know that does give me mum rage, and I think it's also, it makes me more annoyed because I know deep down I shouldn't be relying on the iPad or an electronic device or what have you, or the computer to babysit my child while I'm doing something. But sometimes you just have to, do the laundry or prepare some food. So it's the way that you get something done, and when it flashes up and tells you that it's got 5% battery remaining, you just think, no, this can't be. Don't do this to me now. Do your job. So that makes me really mad. And just that. I think generally, again, everything probably comes back to the sleep deprived thing. But I think I have less patience now. I mean, more you have to have a lot of patience with children because they test your patience. But just generally, when I'm out shopping and stuff, sometimes I think I haven't got time for people that are walking really slowly in a line of lots of people, walking together so that you can't get past. Because as a parent, you're kind of constantly in a rush, aren't you? It's like I've got stuff to do. I need to do it now. I can't hang behind all you people that have time to browse in shop windows. I don't have time to browse anymore. So yeah, that usually winds me up as well.
Doesn't that drive you crazy? I mean, I want to say to these people, it's not time for a meeting. Could you please move? But you can't. Even if your children are grown up, and sleep deprivation for all of us, I don't care if you have little ones, if you don't have kids in the house, I'll tell you what, it really does wear on us, and the patience just goes out the window. But when you do have the little ones, they know it. Like they'll say, "What's wrong?"
Yeah.
Or they'll cry, depending on your child and how, the way they are. Some children will go cry and think they did something, and then you have to explain, and it's okay. That's the other thing. When you have an older child, like you have a 5-year-old, it's okay to say, Mommy is really tired, or whatever it is. Parents also think they have to be perfect, and they can't let their kids see that they're human, that they cry, that they get angry, or it's okay to say.
Yeah, and it's healthy because you're encouraging them to you're setting an example to say it's okay to talk about your feelings and be honest if you're not having a great time, or you're worried about something, or, life's just got you down a little bit today. So if they see mummy or daddy doing that, then, it kind of encourages that conversation, I think, which is healthy.
It does. It's really healthy, and we're talking about devices, and I have to say it's the way of the world. I always said, I don't think it's great to have kids on an iPad or looking at your phone, but I have to tell you, there's lots of great apps, there's lots of great educational things, as long as you take the time during the day to do things with your child.
Absolutely. And get outside. I always have in my mind, if we've been outside and they've had some fresh air and we've done something away from the screen, then I'm quite happy if they want to, look at something or play with one of those, learning apps or whatever it is on the iPad later on, because it's all about balance, isn't it? So
it is about balance. And you know what? Even my almost 2-year-old grandson, he loves, his new thing is he loves Moana.
Okay,
but he gets up and he dances and he sees the colors and he sees the flowers, and everything can be a teaching moment. So
Absolutely.
You don't have to have that guilt that sometimes you let them, watch something or play with an app that's colors or educational. Because again, when they get to school, there's computers in preschools now.
Yeah.
And you don't want them behind either. So it's that G word. It's the G word and the S word, sleep and guilt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if we change those words, it would make it a little easier. But, social media does technology does play a big part now.
Yeah.
Also, social media, what will we do without social media? You have your blog, I have my website and my blog and the whole thing. And it's a great way to reach other parents and to be able to talk to them. Yeah,
it is. It absolutely is. And it provides an online community, I guess, that for advice and support and all of that. So yeah, I'm very pleased that's all been around, particularly in the middle of the night when your husband's snoring, because it's somewhere that you can go to for that comfort and reassurance.
And if somebody's actually on Facebook, this is really bad, but if somebody's on Facebook and they're on Instant Messenger and you can say, I can't sleep, all of a sudden you have a new friend that could be someplace, and you're talking to each other and you're talking about your kids, and you never know. Somebody may have a tip that you didn't think of to get extra sleep, or maybe not. Maybe you need chocolate together. Who knows? Well, we're going to have another commercial break, and when we come back, I am going to ask Sara what her favorite parenting tip is, and we're going to talk a little more about her book. I'm so happy you're with us today. Thank you for taking the time this afternoon, your afternoon, to be on the show. You said it's almost your tea time. I'm ready to come over. I love tea time. Tea time's fun.
you saw the chaos, you'd probably say, no, actually, you're all right, thank you. I'll decline your offer.
Oh, no, I love kids. You know what? They're so much fun, and it always adds fun to the mix. And you just have to overlook the chaos, because at the end of the day, you clean up the toys, you go to bed, and hope you get at least 4 hours of sleep. So please stay with us. I'm Blythe Lipman, host of Baby and Toddler Instructions, and we will be right back with my guest, Sara Turner, the unmumsy mom.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
It's words you never heard.
Okay, ladies, listen up. Did you know recent studies are suggesting that women with skinny waists but sizable hips are smarter than other women? Scientists at the University of Pittsburgh and the University of California gave cognitive tests to a group of 16,000 women and girls of different body types and found the women with the greatest hip-to-waist proportions scored higher. I guess that would make me a walking Encyclopedia Britannica. Now, hold on. That doesn't mean it's okay for us to be a powder pigeon. That's another name for a woman whose sizable hips can take up a whole supermarket aisle. Research suggests that the fat around fuller hips and thighs holds higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids, which helps the brain. I'm not sure if I would rather be able to do the Sunday crossword puzzle or get into those jeans I bought 10 years ago.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
Should you invest in home exercise equipment? My answer is yes. I am a big advocate of purchasing good exercise equipment and exercising at home. Working out at a club, rec center, or studio is fabulous also, but I find that people who have exercise equipment at home tend to exercise on a more regular basis. I design home workout gyms for clients, so I'm always keeping up to date with new equipment. But I want you to know that if you don't have the budget to buy a new state-of-the-art piece, you can still purchase used equipment at a great price and get an awesome workout. Garage sales, want ads, and consignment stores are terrific places to pick up used equipment. Some pieces are outdated and not safe to use, but there are others that are wonderful and are great values. Look for good treadmills, stationary bikes, elliptical trainers, and free weights. For the Fitness Minute, I'm Annette Hammond.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. The hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions. I can't believe we're up to the last part of the show. I say this every week like a broken record because I love my guests, and it goes so quickly when we're talking. There's always so many things to talk about, and this is so much fun. I'm talking to Sara Turner, the unmumsy mom. You have to look at her book. She talks about the hilarious highs and emotional lows of motherhood, and there are tons of them. And, you know, before I ask you your favorite parenting tip, I'm looking at this chapter, Your Day versus His Day, Why Nobody is Winning.
Yeah.
And this is so funny. It says, my alarm these days is Henry. He says, are you awake? My pajama bottoms are wet. I can't find my fire engine. Can I have Weedos? And anyway, and if I'm lucky, a series of recorded minion farts will be the first thing I hear when I wake up as the fart blaster from Despicable Me 2 is activated next to my head. I mean, this is so familiar. It just, I am sitting here with the biggest smile on my face. Who wins?
Well, you know, it's such a difficult one because for so long I just thought, you know, it's that James, my husband, had the easier option because, you know, he got to escape the baby crying and the relentless feeding and all the rest of it and go out to work and have, you know, grown-up conversation with other adults about anything, TV or sport or anything that wasn't baby related. And I just kind of felt like I was trapped a little bit in this bubble. And then I realised actually, you know, on reflection, he was having to go into work on, not as much sleep as perhaps he was used to. And not only that, he would then come back to me whinging and moaning about how difficult my day had been and how he would never understand how hard I'd had it at home and the showdown that there'd been at the doctor's surgery when, both the children were crying and then I started crying and so I kind of think, I don't know if there is a winner really. I think you just have to try and understand where each other's position, because I think the moment that you start making it competition is the moment that arguments happen and
right.
It's not really healthy for anyone.
It isn't, and it's not a competition, but the trick is you leave your partner home with your children at least for 5 hours one day without you. Then they go, oh, wow, I didn't realize this was so tough. Now I know why you're so cranky when I come home.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's that realization of, oh wow, okay, it's not quite as easy as I thought.
Right.
I get a lot of messages to my blog and social media pages from parents who say they've had the argument with the other half, so whoever it is that works in the family, when they've come home and sort of said, well, what actually have you been doing all day? What do you do all day? Because perhaps everything's not in a state of order that they would like, and it's you cannot really explain to somebody how difficult it is just to get stuff done when you have small people demanding your attention. So that's right. They have to do it. They have to trial it and see for themselves.
Oh, no kidding. That's when you want to throw something. When they go, "What did you do all day?" Nothing. We sat around and read books and ate bonbons.
Exactly, yeah. I put my feet up and made myself a cappuccino and read a magazine. What do you think I've been doing?
Yeah, no kidding. So do you have a favorite parenting tip or even two?
The kind of the best tip, but I suppose it's more advice really, was somebody told me to take each day as it comes. So I would always ask for this particular friend for advice on, I don't think I'm doing this right and I don't think I'm doing that right, and et cetera, and she would say, just take every day as it comes, and if you have a particularly disastrous day that's really horrendous, just draw a line under it at the end of the day when you go to bed, almost mentally file it in a disastrous day filing cabinet and start again the next day with a fresh sheet and if you break sometimes there are phases, whether it's the baby's teething or it's potty training or whatever you're trying to do or achieve, it can feel quite relentless, but if you break it down into days, it kind of feels more manageable somehow. So that was always a good one.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, and the other one is to never assume that what you see on social media reflects the whole picture. So I think as parents we can often assume that we're doing a worse job than other people, or we're not coping as well as other people. But if you it's kind of natural to want to upload your best bits. So the picture of the one picture out of 20 where both children were smiling and looking at the camera, and it's quite easy then to look at all your friends' pictures and think, oh, look how well they're managing and look how happy their kids are, and everybody's got everything together and they're managing so well, but actually they just haven't uploaded the other 19 pictures that show when the children were fighting with each other and somebody dropped their ice cream and the mum was crying, or it's that remember, keeping in mind the perspective of social media is people upload and share a selection of their life, and that's not the whole picture, so you can't take it at face value, I guess.
That's a great tip, because what we do put the best things on there. We don't put a child running around with a diaper he just took off. Right?
No, exactly that. And it's natural to want to share the best bits. That's not,
of course,
because you want people to comment, oh my goodness, your children look like angels, they're lovely, and that is fine. But there's just a danger of, if you're somebody that's having a bit of a hard time of it, especially as a new parent, that you start to kind of internalize what you're seeing online as being the norm, and that everybody else is coping better than you are, which generally isn't the case at all. So it's just, keeping in mind that you'll never see like the outtake versions of the things that these people have uploaded. Yeah.
There's always another side. So I love this chapter. Things I swore I wouldn't do as a parent, but I do. Yeah. What's your favorite one?
Oh, there are so many. There are so many. What one of them is the most obvious one was, I would see people lift up their babies to smell their bum, to think, to see if they'd pooped or not. And I used to think pre becoming a parent, I would just never get my nose right in there and have a sniff. And then I became a parent and just had no fear at doing that. I would just, that's if it needed investigation, my nose would be right there. And the other thing is, I always swore that I wouldn't start calling my husband daddy, because it becomes, you worry about this thing of losing your sense of identity somehow. So, we're Sarah and James. We're not just Henry and Jude's mummy and daddy. We're Sarah and James. But, when you refer to them as daddy around the children all day long, it creeps in there. And I find myself saying, do you want a cup of tea, daddy? And he doesn't even seem to notice that he's no longer got a name. He just nods and says, yes, please, mummy. And I think, oh no, this is something I swore would never happen, but it has happened. So yeah. But yeah, there are so many.
That's funny. I like the one that says, I tell lies. I remember telling my daughter, trying to get her out of the pool one day we were visiting my in-laws in Florida, and I told her that if she didn't get out of the pool, the police were going to come get her.
Yeah, I know. And it's panic. I think sometimes you just do what is, for survival, you just do what you have to do. And sometimes, you deem a little white lie, better than the alternative, which is dealing with a toddler who's having a tantrum. So
I love this book. So what's the takeaway you want parents to have out of all these wonderful tips and chapters and honesty?
Yeah, I think it is just the fact that I hope that anybody that's reading it, that's ever had a kind of a doubt of, oh my goodness, I'm not sure if I'm cut out for this, or this is harder than I expected, or what can I expect even, is to kind of breathe a sigh of relief at the end and say, oh, thank goodness it's not just me. We're all in it together, and we all face these challenges. And actually, kids are hilarious, and it is all worthwhile, even in the moments when you think, oh my goodness, is it? But it really is. But it's just that honest take. I hope it's kind of the book that I wish that I had read when I first became a mum. So that was kind of what I had in mind. What would have been useful for me at that point.
Well, you accomplished that, because it's a great book, and I am so happy you could be on the show with me. Again, Sara Turner, The Unmumsy Mom, The Hilarious Highs and Emotional Lows of Motherhood. And where can people get your book?
Yeah, so it's available on Amazon, and it's available in some bookshops as well. I think it's even, I had a message on my Facebook page from somebody that told me that they'd picked it up in Walmart. So it is in stores as well, and not just online. But yeah.
Well, great book. I loved having you as a guest. I'd love to have you on again. You go enjoy your tea time with your little ones, and have a nice night. Thanks, Sara.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, what a fun show. Make sure you purchase a copy of Sara's book. And if you get it along with mine, I have 3 books. It's a little self-promo here. Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. More Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. And Help My Toddler Came Without Instructions. Put the 4 together with The Unmumsy Mom. What a great gift. It's springtime. A lot of babies are born. So great gift. Had to do a little self-promotion there. I have some great guests scheduled coming down the line. My guest, his name is Chris Pagula. He's the diaper dude. I have a grandpa coming on. We're going to be doing a grandpa show. And if you'd like to be a guest, again, contact me via my website, mybestparentingadvice.com, or you can call my office at 480-510-1453. I'm also on Facebook Live. Check out my website because I just put a new article on there about the preschool calling. Panic. And as you know, I love to laugh, and we should all laugh at least once a day, if not more. And you know, raising a child is humorous. So here's a little humor to end the show today. I love parents teaching their toddlers Japanese while I'm over here just trying to get mine to stop licking the refrigerator. I always thought I'd be a patient mom until I watched my toddler try to zip his own jacket. And we were in a hurry to leave. And finally, before becoming a parent, I didn't know I could ruin somebody's life by asking them just to put their clothes on. Oh, those toddler tantrums, they're tough. But you know, if you have a little patience, if you can have patience with your little ones, you will make so many great memories. And I know we do lose our patience with our little ones, as Sarah and I were talking. Don't worry about it. You know what? It's lack of sleep. Take naps when they nap. You will see the things that you thought were big are really little as they get older. Just enjoy them each day. They grow up so quickly. Before you know it, they're in preschool. Before you know it, they're in high school. Before you know it, they're out of the house. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in to Baby and Toddler Instructions. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.